It is 12:33 on a Wednesday. Joining me now, the one and only former Gamecock running back, always a Gamecock, but a former. If I said Gamecock running back, Brian, they would expect you, and I know you stay in great shape. You got two little ones. You get two little ones, right? Two little ones that have got you running
That's
around?
right.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah, they keep me in shape.
I was going to say, I think the last time we talked, you just had the second one, and I think I had to say, all right, we'll get back on the air with you later. You're going to be a little tied up for some time being. So congratulations as you move through. It's fun, right? It's fun when they're little, though, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, they keep you tied up. Well, let's lot going on in the Gamecock world, but one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is obviously this change. Let's get your initial thoughts. You got a lot going on in life, so I wonder. I think you're perfect for this. South Carolina switches from Under Armour to Nike. Did you look at it and were like, "Oh, that's a good change. I like that," or were you kind of like, "Okay, whatever. It's a polo. It's tennis shoes. How does a former player view that? Or do you look back and be like, man, I'm kind of jealous. That was 20 years ago. I didn't like Under Armour then.
Well, back then, so I think my first year was the first year we had Under Armour. And the shoes, the cleats have come a long way. That was the main thing. Clothes were fine. Jerseys were fine. But, after seeing that Nike was going to take over, I was like, man, that's nice. It's a difference between Peter Millar, Grayson, and Gildan. You get what I'm saying? So like, it's Nike is a good brand. It's very noticeable. I think they have a lot of different, outfits or different combinations. I wanted to say. So yeah, it's going to be great. And a lot comes with Nike as well. So I like the change.
You were a big-time, 4-star recruit, big-time recruit. You went on, I can't remember, Summer House, whatever that television show was. I mean, you were a big-time guy, one of the top 2-3 players in the state. You came down to, if I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think for you it came down to North Carolina and South Carolina. So obviously at that time, North Carolina's always been a big Nike school. Did anywhere in there, uniforms or Nike versus Under Armour, did that ever get brought up in recruiting or come across your mind? Or obviously there's so many other things, offensive philosophy, head coaches, education, so many other things, but did that ever get brought up and talked about?
Yeah, so I mean, it might have a little bit, but I wasn't concerned about Nike, Under Armour, or whatever. This is a decision that was going to impact my life for, in short term, those 4 years, and then in long term, the rest of my life, which, I mean, it's greatly impacted me. So yeah, it was never brand this or that, so yeah, it never played a big role, but it came down to South Carolina, obviously number 1, Florida 2, and Virginia Tech number 3 for me. Didn't think about Chapel Hill much, even though I got heavily recruited by them. But yeah, that wasn't really a big thing back then, but it was cool to see that Under Armour was going to sponsor the Gamecocks at the time.
Yeah, when you get to campus, and that was kind of where else I was going, that was, you and I were texting earlier about this. I'm pretty sure your freshman year coincided with the first year of Under Armour, which meant you never had to go through the Russell athletic days. Our buddy Preston Thorne has talked about that. He is told when me and him were doing a show together, he would laugh and say that when he was playing from 2000 to about 2005, he'd run into his Clemson buddies who were wearing Nike, and he's wearing Russell Athletic. He'd have to kind of take his hand and cover up the RA logo. But do you remember I remember the fan base. I remember being just finally out of college at that point. The fan base was really fired up. Do you remember the player reaction or your reaction to seeing the apparel come in, the new jerseys, whatever it was, maybe sweatsuits, or that you got just the reaction of the team and maybe how that kind of goes over in the locker room?
Yeah, no, everybody was excited. Everybody was pumped up about it. Under Armour was a big name even back then, especially coming out. And so, yeah, I mean, everybody was excited. And, the apparel, when we go to Chris Matlock and the the room where we get all of our stuff. It was an exciting time, and being on that summer house show, we didn't get to keep any of this, which, I mean, guys are getting paid nowadays. But we had all the Under Armour, everything you wanted on that show. So it was pretty cool to come to a school where I was going to get to wear Under Armour and get to keep the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It plays, so, that's what I wanted. It plays a role. It's not a big role, but it obviously for a player, because as you said, for a player, things are different nowadays. But obviously for a player, getting to keep it as opposed to going and paying $80 for a polo or a pullover, or I think they had sweatshirts out there today, something of that nature. It's a little different. Let's go over to the running back room here, because that's obviously a big deal. What have you seen when in your limited time? There's obviously so many questions. Matt Fuller's going to be the guy. I really like Christian Clark, who has only had a one-game sample to really choose from. Jarwan Howell is back there. Isaiah Augustive is back there. What is your thoughts on this running back room and what you know about them?
Yeah, so Coach Beamer does a fantastic job of getting former players involved, and we're doing some stuff. I don't know how much has been let out the bag, but we're doing some things to where we're spending some time with some of the guys, and I got two of them, and they're both are in the running back room. One is Matt Fuller, and the other is Jarwan Howell. Two great guys. Reach out to them periodically. I think it's going to be it's all dependent on, which we always talk about, is the offensive line. How those guys can get pushed up front is going to allow or determine the success of the running game, which I feel like, with the guys that we got back there, we're going to see an increase in the running game. We're going to see a better running game this year. They practice hard. They look good every time I've seen them, in the spring of this year. So very excited to see what those guys can do, once game time and the lights come on.
Give us as much detail as you can. That's a really cool program that you're talking about and it's a brilliant idea by Shane Beamer, not only getting former players involved, but getting guys involved that are committed, dedicated to the university, that want to see success. I forget that there is a name for it. I can't remember. Maybe since you're involved in it. But it's not player relations. But anyway, how is that working right now? You mentioned it. They reach out to you. You reach out to them. You just offer advice, life advice, football advice. How has that kind of been in this mentor? Mentor is, I guess, the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. It's a mentorship program. No, it's going good. I mean, you don't want to bombard the guys. Basically, you're just out there to be a resource. So whenever you need something from me, you can reach out. Now, I'm not going to pay you $1 million, but you're already getting money. But I wish I had $1 million. But anyway, no, just offering advice, just being there for them, talking to them about whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he wants us to take it to whatever level we want to with these guys. But obviously what they're doing day in and day out, going to summer school, getting their degree, practicing, having to do workouts, they're in a full-time job. So like I told the guys, hey, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to reach out to you, see how things are going periodically, and we can take it from there.
So to kind of give people an example, and I'm not being funny with this, but if one of them's having, girl problem, college is a wild time. I think we all know. But if they're having girl problems, you're trying to get your studies right. Obviously, you're trying to play football, and it's a different level of football. This is where this mentorship, this is where you kind of step in and go, hey, back 20 years ago, here's kind of what I did. That's what this mentorship is really about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, he picked several guys, or it's quite a few of us, that date back well before me, guys after me. So yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's to really, when he explained it on our opening Zoom call or Teams meeting, it was about, hey, with the world of college football the way it is right now, we got to do something different. And Coach Beamer is all about building culture, and this is another step to building that culture. And just letting the guys know about Gamecock football, because a lot of them they don't understand. And they're seeing different faces year after year, or they might have transferred in from a different school last year. So just explaining to them, what it takes to be a Gamecock, what it takes, or what you're looked at when you walk around this area, and how you're looked and viewed, and what it means ultimately. And I think that's us being involved and having a coach that's wanting the culture to be what it is and what it's going to be right now. I think that speaks mountains, moves mountains, and I'm excited to see what these guys, these young men, can do this year on the football field because of it, because of the culture.
Brian, always appreciate it, man. We're out of time, but I always appreciate it, and you're always grateful with your time. And we'll definitely have you back on in July to catch up more to you. You're a great Gamecock, doing a great job, and good luck with the family, man. I'm glad you're having a good time doing that as well.
Yes, sir. Go Gamecocks, and hope you all have a happy 4th.
You too. You as well. Brian Maddox, former Gamecock. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1. It's the halftime show. Thank you to Brian Maddox for joining us. Interesting there. I had heard some of this. I was not completely aware. I've never really dug into it and heard it explained in the way Brian did about the mentorship that Shane Beamer has put in place. And, you know, it all comes down to winning. And Coach Beamer will tell you that. He'll be the first to tell you that, you know, you can be a great human being. You can get your student athletes to graduate. You can have your student athletes where they aren't driving 90 miles per hour in a 45 and having reckless driving charges every month. Kirby Smart. But the name of the game is winning. And, you know, for South Carolina, there's been good and there has been bad. There's 5 football seasons of Shane Beamer coaching. 3, to be quite frank, have been exceptional. And I know that some of y'all go, well, Bill Gunner, come on, 7-6 is not exceptional. I don't know, buddy. You start 4 quarterbacks. You basically dig a guy off of the grad assistant unit in Zeb Nolan, and you find a way, and y'all forget that year at the end of the season. And, yeah, they got clocked by Clemson, but I think people tend to forget that first year. South Carolina, quite frankly, that first year, you go back and you really look at it, they were, not to be mean to anybody, but they were not good. And to get to 7-6 was a pretty wild accomplishment if you go back and you really look on it. Beamer's first year as a head coach. By the way, I didn't realize you were behind the prayer. Are you producing today,
yes,
Tyler?
Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry.
We had to flip things around because of our. We are shorthanded this week. We have multiple people not here, so we've had to. I was wondering when you were going to give me my end point, but
I was sitting here. I was like, well, he must have just decided he'll start at 1:00, and I just looked at the screen, and you were sitting at the producer studio. So, Tyler back from Gamecock Traditions. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me finish my thought. But yeah, just because Tyler came in, we were talking during the break, and he walked off. He disappeared off, and I was like, I guess he'll start at 1:00. And so I'm sitting here rambling on, and just happened to look at our live stream that's in front of me, and he's sitting there at the prayer. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
this is what we're rocking with today.
Okay. All right. So anyway, let me finish this, and then we'll talk to you. We'll get you going here. We want to hear. I want a lot of questions about being over there at Gamecock Traditions, but Tyler, what I was, to my point, the Maddox thing, what Brian Maddox is talking about. This is a great idea, and it's we always hear about how do former players wanting to be involved,
sure.
Right? You always hear about it seems like that's always a complaint, no matter what. Is I want as a former player, I want to be back involved. I want to be back around. And Brian Maddox is not the only one. If you were listening, and we'll get that audio up. He mentioned he's got 2 of the running backs, Jarwan Howell and Matt Fuller. And he's just there to offer guidance and to talk about Carolina football, but to talk about life and to talk about life going through college. Because again, Tyler, they're getting paid now. They're semi-adults. They're making money. But they're still 18 to 23-year-olds that have life problems at home with mom and dad, problems with the girlfriend. You're trying to make good grades to stay eligible, even though you have a lot of help. You want to be around your friends. There's a lot of things going on in your life at that time, and on top of all of it, you were expected to perform, and now you're expected to perform at an even higher level. It can be stressful, and to have former players involved like that, I think is a brilliant idea, and kudos to Shane Beamer for calling it.
Yeah, no doubt, and that kind of goes in line with who Beamer kind of is as a person. As you said a minute ago, at the end of the day, wins and losses are going to determine how long he's around here, but nobody denies that, from a, person standpoint, Beamer really does try and help these guys out. Tries to look out for their best interests. Obviously, we've seen, especially in this offseason, a couple things crop up with the guys getting in trouble, and Beamer having no hesitation to remove those guys from a team and not let those be further distractions. So, yeah, we all kind of learned a moment ago when he talked about that being a thing. Maybe it's been reported on before, but I don't recall hearing about it. But, yeah, it's really good. And, again, there are larger things out there within football, and most of these guys won't have careers, past college. So you're setting these guys up for success in life, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that, obviously, as we roll through the afternoon. Finish that thought. Again, 5 years, I think just and it is getting to a bowl, Tyler, is not what it used to be. There was 41 bowls, 42 bowls, so basically almost 3/4 of college football were going to a bowl. But that first year, if y'all think back, they get obliterated at Tennessee. They got a rally. Zeb Nolan has to come in and rally them against Vanderbilt. They're 4-3, and then they go to A&M, and I think A&M, I was in Vegas for that game. A&M just blew them out the water. Somehow, some way, off a bye week, South Carolina blew out Florida. They beat an Auburn team that forgot about Tank Bigsby. They get to a bowl. They scheme up to carry on Joyner at quarterback, and they win the game and win 7 games. They weren't good that year, and they got to 7 wins. I count that as a success, and then 8-4 and 9-3, certainly. All right, we'll get to hour number 2. Tyler's here. We'll talk about Gamecock traditions and several other topics, including Brendan Sorsby doing something. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, the company that has your best interest at heart when it comes to your roof, because that's what the company that's been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry for over 30 years does. They take care of their customers. They make sure that your roof is keeping your business or your home, whichever it may need to be, dry, running, and not having any issues when there are significant thunderstorms. Let's be honest, it's summertime, and we're about to start getting some of those significant summer thunderstorms that all of a sudden ramp up with heavy rains, high winds. Is your roof ready to handle it? Well, I know people that are already thinking about it, and that is Mid-State Roofing. So let them provide the proper advice, service, and the results to the needs of your facility, and they're going to do it in a manner that's safe and pleasing to you and your operation. Professionalism at its best. That's Mid-State Roofing, 803-356-1919. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. 1 o'clock on your show of the 803. The show of the 803. That's right. Been here for 44 years and bringing Tyler along. Welcoming him not just to Columbia, of course, but to Lexington. You're learning all about Lexington, aren't you?
Indeed, I am. In fact, I got caught in Lexington traffic on the way over here.
You haven't had to deal. That's right, because you're here from 9 to 3 pretty much every day. You haven't had to deal with 378 traffic quite like that during the day, have you?
Not typically. I'm usually not over there around noon on a Wednesday, and like you have to get out of Gamecock Traditions to go to the left. You got to like go down and turn around. And then there was like a one of those wide load trucks that was carrying like a big trailer on it. I got behind that, and they were narrowing it down to one lane over there by the Goodwill and all that kind of stuff. So it took me a little bit longer than I thought I was going to take to get over here.
Yep. Welcome to Lexington traffic. We're glad to have you. Glad to have you back here, but just glad to have you here on the station as always, and glad to have you out in Lexington. Giving you Tyler and I off air talk about different restaurants.
It's a very easy drive to work this morning. I'll say that much.
That's right. Yeah, and if you were going there about 8:15, 8:30, you've kind of missed, number one, you missed school traffic because there's no school, and two, you kind of missed the early rush. So that shouldn't have been hard for you at all. But how was it this morning? Number one, did you stay up till midnight? Now, I mentioned this. Probably you didn't catch it, unfortunately, because of this kidney disease. Sleeping for me is a crazy situation now, and matter of fact, I sleep on the floor. And then I got into watching in Mexico and Ecuador last night. So there was a lot of things going on. So staying up till midnight, because it dawned on me at about 9 o'clock, I bet they're going to do something at midnight, the official switchover time.
Sure.
So I was like, well, I'll stay up till midnight, and it really wasn't much of a problem anyway to do that. And so sure enough, as it comes out, Gamecock Traditions was all over it. Their new line of clothing, new Nike line, they had it up and ready to go. You could go in and order something at 12 a.m. and 1 second. It was ready. And I browsed through it, didn't purchase anything, browsed through it, waited patiently for a jersey reveal for like 20 minutes, never saw it, and then called it a night. But how was it this morning? I heard Scott Satterfield. It sounded like a humongous success.
Oh yeah, they were plenty busy. They had to do like a VIP access earlier on this morning because people were coming in. I think you had to give your name or email or something like that between like 8 and 10. And again, it was very busy when we got in there. Then the way it's set up, so they used to have like that room in the back that was the Clemson gear, right? Now that entire room is all Gamecock Nike stuff. So that entire room is full of the stuff, and we were walking through there talking to people, obviously very busy, and just people after people after people coming out with bags of stuff. The funniest thing was the people that you saw walk in, like they're wearing a Gamecock Under Armour t-shirt or something like that, and as they walk in, not even waiting to get to their car, right after they go past the register, they're putting on the shirt, polo, whatever it may be, so they can walk out of Gamecock Traditions already repping the Nike stuff, which was funny.
Yeah, that's what somebody sent, a text in saying that. It's been, I will say this, it's been interesting to watch Twitter in particular today because there's been this buildup, right?
Sure.
There's been, here it is, huge deal. We're finally going to Nike. We're finally going to Nike. People were so fed up with Under Armour. We're finally going to Nike. And then you get here, and then, to truthfully be told, Gamecock Traditions is still going to be rolling stuff out. I believe I saw Jordan Kay and maybe Scott Satterfield maybe said this in y'all's interview with him, that they don't even have the full line of hats in yet.
Yeah.
Nike hadn't shipped them.
Just because you don't see it today doesn't mean it's not coming. Like he said, trucks are coming in every day, and more new stuff's going to be coming off of them, and what you see on the website is what they're going to have in store as well. So, yeah, if you saw something, maybe didn't catch your eye today, tomorrow, Friday, who knows, there's going to be more stuff coming in.
Well, and I say that so, like, because everybody gets to it, and you're like, well, life didn't really change. It's kind of like when you go from 43 years old to 44 years old, and on May 2nd, I'm 43, and on May 3rd, I'm 44, and people are like, well, how do you feel? I'm like, well, same I did yesterday, actually. No different. I don't know when, Tyler, maybe it's game one. Maybe it's when we get a true jersey reveal, and we all get to judge the garnet, whatever, however it looks, the numbering and the lettering, and if it says Gamecocks or Carolina or where the stripes are, or if if they're sleeves, if they're all belly, I don't know. You get the point.
Yeah.
Maybe that's when it. But I don't know what it takes to be like, oh yeah. Now we're in a Nike school.
Well, and I think we also have to understand, look, Nike is a status symbol, right? Like if this were a situation where South Carolina was going from Under Armour to Adidas or something like that, I don't think this would be as big of a deal. It would be a big deal, but not as big as going to Nike. Nike is the standard when it comes to athletic apparel. There's a reason why like 70-80% of all Division I schools have Nike as their outfitter, because they're the best, right? And look, I'm not that far removed from high school. I know what the value of wearing the Nike swoosh is for popularity and social status and those kind of things. And that kind of stuff does carry into fandom as well. And there's something that you feel, I think there's a level of prestige you feel when you're repping Nike gear for your school, especially when it's brand new and all that kind of stuff. And again, is it going to translate to more wins on the field? No, not necessarily. But it's all about, I think, the aesthetic appeal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one thing about Nike, and we'll talk more about it as we go through the show, they don't have a green jacket. You know who has a green jacket?
Who?
Roy McIlroy. And
That's
have you
true.
seen this? Have you
Got
seen
a couple
this?
of them, actually.
He's got, well, I think you got to give, I don't know how that works. I think,
yeah, so I guess you don't get a second green jacket. You have one multiple green jackets.
I think you, yeah, but I don't, I think you get I think you get two. I think you get a replica, and then you get your jacket for when you show back up at the club. Well, today, I think it was today, because I'm seeing this, maybe it was yesterday, but he showed up at Wimbledon wearing his green jacket. So my question to you, what sporting item would you always show up wearing? Would it be if you won a Super Bowl ring?
Mm-hmm.
Would you everywhere you go? Brad Edwards, and I haven't talked to Brad in a very, very long time. Former Gamecock defensive back who played in the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl with the Redskins, the actual Redskins, and he tells a great story about wearing that Super Bowl ring. And he says it was really heavy. He says he couldn't wear it every day. He said he wanted to. It's a beautiful ring, but he couldn't wear it every day. And he said, as a matter of fact, after a while, he had to actually flip it over where the top would be on his palm so that, it wasn't. And he said one day, I'll never forget him telling the story, he said one day he came home and he flipped the ring over to where the bottom, the top part's now facing his palm, so it's on the bottom of his hand. And he said he walks in the door, and he said the dog jumped up on him, and he smacked, just went to smack the dog down.
Yeah.
And the ring hit the dog square in the head, knocked the dog out.
Oh, no.
And he said, I wasn't looking. He goes, I was looking at my wife, like, hey, honey, I'm home, and like just kind of swatted the dog. And he goes, all you heard was, whoop, and looks down, and the dog's out, and freaked out. He said that's when I realized I can only wear this to special occasions.
Yeah.
Like really special. He's like, it's not an everyday piece of material. So do you have something, or if you won the Stanley Cup, is that going with you everywhere? I don't think they let each player get the Lombardi trophy.
You're talking about the physical Stanley Cup itself?
Yeah, because doesn't I believe the NHL team that wins it, each player gets the cup for a day. Gets the individual. I believe that is true. Somebody can correct me on that.
For my day, yes, absolutely. I'm taking that with me literally everywhere.
Right.
If I had it for an extended period of time, probably not, just from the logistics of having to carry it around. That's a little bit more of an issue as opposed to like a ring that you wear on your finger or something along those lines. I almost kind of feel like the Masters jacket, isn't that almost kind of like a Letterman's jacket? You know what I mean? Like, all right, you wear it when you're in high school, but when you get out of high school, probably shouldn't keep it on. Like, don't wear your Letterman jacket to college, kids, if you've never heard that piece of advice before. So, but I can also understand the flex of like going to Wimbledon, you're with a bunch of, highfalutin rich people and trying to flex like, hey, guess what? I won the past 2 Masters and I have a green jacket because of it. That is one of those times where I think wearing that jacket outside of Augusta National is seen as acceptable.
See, that's where I'm really going back and forth on this. Like, if you've won it twice, do you wear the jacket anymore? Like, I get it if you're a first time winner. Like I'd wear it everywhere. I think Bubba, we don't all want to know what exactly Bubba Watson did with that jacket. Like there's there's the crazy stories about him skiing. Have you seen that? Him skiing and him where he wore it on all the shows that he went. I did everything. Like that jacket of his can't be dry cleaned enough, probably. But like if you've won it a second time, do you need to wear it everywhere? And then if so, do you wear it to the Masters? Or excuse me, to something, to a big time tennis tournament? Or is it something that you take out casually? Because I feel like it almost might have more gravitas, more cachet if I'm just I'm not. I'm just going to use an example, folks. I'm pretty sure Rory McIlroy doesn't eat at Applebee's, but if you're just going to Applebee's, yeah, I'm just got my green jacket on. Just felt like going out for a bite tonight. I don't know what the ribs, don't they do ribs? I'm just going to get some ribs. Might get some on my jacket, might not. I don't know. It's just a jacket. It look good. Makes my eyes look good. Or is it? I feel like it loses its luster a tad. At like a Wimbledon where you're probably with a bunch of other highfalutin people and they're like, okay, yeah, good for you.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess it because doesn't anybody wear white to Wimbledon?
I think that is a rule. Well, an unspoken rule, I believe. Yes, I know the players wear white.
So
I don't know about the patrons.
I think a lot of the crowds does too. So you're also putting yourself in a position where you stand out a lot. Now, again, if you can stand out for worse things than being a Masters winner, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Again, I think there's now, like you said, the thing with Bubba when he won all the shows and stuff like that. After he won, like that's okay. Like that's understandable. You're going to go on, Letterman or whatever. Sure, you'll wear your jacket because you just won the Masters. But like, it's not something that like, okay, you're going to go out to like a fancy restaurant in L.A. with your wife or whatever. Probably shouldn't wear the jacket there. You know what I mean?
They're having a good time. Like most of, Tommy Fleetwood is there. Justin Rose is there. They got a picture of Rory there in the green jacket. By the way, I'll give him this. He looks spiffy in it.
I'm sure.
He's got his wife there, him and they're at Wimbledon, and he's got a green tie. He looks like he's dressed for Easter Sunday.
Yes.
Like he looks like he is showing up for Easter Sunday, for church service on Easter Sunday. If you just looked at the picture that he's at, you can't really. There's just a green tent in the back, and there's some people, and they're kind of dressed up. If you're looking at me like, oh man, he really cleans up well for Easter Sunday. But I also wonder about that because not his home country, obviously, but what is he? He's
from Ireland.
Ireland. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so I don't know how to phrase this, but it's not the same, but it is to me the same. Does that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's.
And you know what? That's a good point because I don't know if he's gotten a chance to go back to his home country since at least winning it twice. Right? So if he's there for Wimbledon, yeah, you can stop into Ireland on your way back or whatever, and maybe you're showing off the jacket to some old family or old friends or something like that. I don't know.
Looks good, but yeah, I don't know. Do you wear it? Would you? If you wanted a second time, not the first. The first time I totally get. The first time I totally get. You're wearing that baby everywhere. You're on a boat with your friends. You're going down the street for pizza. You're going to Village Idiot for pizza. You're going to Applebee's for ribs. It doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, you're wearing the green jacket the first time you win it. It doesn't come off.
Probably.
The second time? Yeah.
It's like, is this a act like you've been there before?
I don't know. But it's a big event. It's a big event. And that's the other part. Like, is that what it is? You just break it out like anytime you have to go to a big event, you're like, well, got to wear the green jacket today.
Yeah.
Get a tie that matches.
Does it get to the point where people get annoyed by it? Like, oh, it's going to wear the green jacket again.
I think, yeah. That's the other part. Look at him with his green. Look at him with his green jacket.
Because his daughter's 4 or 5 years old. She's real young, and I don't know if she has like a recital or something like that. Hey, we're going to go to her piano recital. I'm going to wear the green jacket. Don't wear the green jacket. This isn't the place for that.
That's exactly the point. Also, you're pretty limited on, I think, your pants selection with the green jacket, right?
Yeah. Well, you can always go black, right?
I don't know. See, I don't know about the black look. I would like it, but it looks better with the kind of the beige khaki look.
For the second time today, I'll mention that I'm partially colorblind, so I'm not good at matching anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I just always assume black goes with everything.
All right. We'll continue to monitor Rory and his green jacket. When we come back, Brendan Sorsby. This is kind of interesting, and Tyler poses a pretty good question about his reputation. We'll talk about that. I actually think Tyler's question, my answer is going to be no. He didn't. And I will tell you the question, and I'll explain why my answer is no when we come back. You're listening to the Halftime Show. You know what else today was or is currently? You can still do this, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This, you're getting a little old for it. I'm aged out. I think I'm aged out. I wish I wasn't. Austin, my 14-year-old, is not. So I was informed promptly this morning that we had to do something.
Okay.
Do you want to take a guess real quick at what that had to be done?
July 1st.
Mm-hmm. Might not, because it's not an every year thing. They just the way they set it up this year.
Does it have something to do with CFP 27?
It does. Today, I think it's actually tomorrow, but I think I got tricked. But we had to buy. We bought the bundle.
Okay.
We bought the bundle
with Madden.
Well, yeah, with Madden, about $135. You get both games, and I still don't exactly know what they're doing because you buy a membership, and I don't know. But he gets early access tomorrow to the game. So not only is it time to switch to Nike, it's time to break out the new. It could be an exciting. Let me tell you something. If you're single and like you don't, video games and new clothing is your thing, I hope you saved up because it's an expensive week.
Oh, yeah.
If you have to answer to somebody for your finances, well, maybe they've got you a little more under control. But if you're a single guy or girl out there that loves college football and you need your new Nike gear, it's a $400 to $500 week.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much you want to buy. And then you have, again, college football 27. I'm not in the early release club on that. In fact, and I'm going to do this again because I didn't buy last year's game just because I was so deep into the first year that I wanted to keep playing it. But I'm going to buy this year's game. I think I'll kind of do it every 2 years, basically. What I did last time was I waited until they were in stores, and I physically drove to Best Buy, Target. Yeah, I went to Target to buy the game in person just for the nostalgia of, when I was a kid doing the same thing. And I'll probably do that again this time around. There are certain things in life, pre-orders and being able to download games and all that kind of stuff is cool. But there's something about the anticipation of driving to a store to physically pick up a game that's special. We don't get those too often anymore, so I enjoy doing that.
Well, I'm good lead in. We're going to get to the Brendan Sorsby thing in just a minute. But very good lead in because as we're doing the show, Austin sends me a text message. Physical, this is came out today. Well, I guess, at the beginning of the show, after he and I had discussed all this morning. Starting in January 2028, PlayStation will no longer release physical discs.
Well, I guess I'll get it in while I can.
Yep. It said, in response to shifting trends and consumer preferences, new games will be released on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Whatever that means.
But what's the point of GameStop then?
If you got stock in it, it might be time to start looking around.
I guess so. I don't know.
Good question. That's actually a great question.
When I was in high school, when they'd come out with a new Call of Duty or a new Halo, and I didn't do this because I wasn't as much into the shoot-'em-up games, but I would have friends that would camp out at GameStop for the midnight release of Halo when we were in high school. Cool, we've come a long way.
I don't mind being a little open about my life and being maybe sometimes to an extent an embarrassment. I think I've told this story on air before, more so in college. Well, not more so in college. This was in college. Okay, this was in college, maybe a year or two after college. They didn't have early release dates, if you remember, for college football.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a particular buddy of mine that we were always taking summer classes. Some of the other friends would go home, but that July, it would always be about the 15th, 16th, 17th, the middle of July. We would go down to 5 Points and party all night until midnight, and then we would go over to West Columbia. There was a 24-hour buy low and a 24-hour, if y'all know where I'm talking about, coming into town just past 26. There was a 24-hour buy low, and there was a 24-hour Walmart.
Okay.
And we would hit the Walmart at 12 o'clock and be waiting when they rolled the new pallet out. And then we would hit the buy low on the way back to the house and pick up a few frozen pizzas and about 2 cases of beer, and we got nothing accomplished. We got absolutely nothing accomplished, and then proceeded, if it was normally the release, I think it was on a Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and so that would be the end of the week for us. But that was how it, and it's funny because that was about a 3-year tradition, and we actually got to know. I had no clue who they were. Like they didn't go to college, or they might have gone to. I don't know. It's just random people, but you get to know them. And we saw the same people there for like 3 straight years, and you're like, oh, family.
Yeah,
we get to know each other.
Sure. It's like, hey, you guys again.
And that was when you bought the current current disc. But yeah.
It's great to have technology at our fingertips and things being able to be downloaded in seconds. But man, there's something about those kind of experiences with your friends and in college and things like that we're missing out on, man. That's going away, and I don't like that.
Yeah, somebody was telling me the other day, and we're not going to go down this path, that 5 Points, I guess they were in town for their daughter's graduation not too long ago, and that 5 Points isn't what it was. I mean, in its heyday, it was, even before I went, it was something. When I was there, from 2000 to 2005-ish.
Sure.
It was something that's not the same, I guess.
It can get busy. I mean, I don't go down there a ton, but when I've been down there, it's it's a happening place. But I can't only imagine what it used to be like.
I'm going to assume you haven't been down there lately. If you have, okay. But I was going to say lately, past 10 o'clock.
Well, the last time we went was actually on Valentine's weekend for emo night at one of those clubs there.
Oh, okay.
So, or one of the bars there. Yeah, that was the last time I went to 5 Points.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. I haven't been. I meant to get to the chicken wing eating contest a couple weeks ago for the I think it's Garnet Trust that Cox by 90 with Jeff and Cocky Hospitality and all those guys put on. JC was part of that. 803-404-6100. So, yeah, so if you've got a child and they play the college football game, you can get Madden 27 and the college football game for the bundle. It was $130, $135 something.
I feel like that's kind of one of those instances, though, because typically the thought is like, well, I don't want my kid playing too many video games. If you see Austin going in a prolonged period of time without playing those games, be like, the heck, man. Paid $135. You better get on those games.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was like, yeah, let's just not. I mean, we've done it the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this. I mean, this is legal because I turn it into the government. But for us, I don't know if you know this. It's research for our job.
Yeah.
It's a tax write-off.
Yep.
I have to have it. I can't help it.
Yeah. Can't not have it.
Part of the job. Great accountant I have. Anyway, 803-404-6100. Brendan Sorsby, is his reputation ruined? I say no. We'll talk about this when we come back. You're listening to the Halftime Show. I'm with this texter. He says we're talking about only having digital copies, or having to download stuff. Sounds like Gamecock tickets. Yeah, am I the only one that's like terrified of having tickets on my phone?
I get concerned. I wouldn't say terrified.
Well, like I'm afraid they're not going to scan, or that they've somehow are going to be missing, or that I'm not going to get it's a slight panic attack.
Sure.
For me.
No, like physical media or physical things in general are something I think we all miss a lot. And for one, like I think it's at my parents' house now, but I have like one of those cork boards with a ton of old game tickets and concert tickets and things like that just pinned to it. And, some of them are in bad shape. Some of them got autographs on them. It's just like a physical thing from that event that you went to that you can look back on and say, yeah, I remember that. That was cool. And, reminisce or whatever. That, unfortunately, and you can technically keep things in your phone's wallet, but it's not the same, right? There's something about having that physical ticket in your hand or being able to put it on a wall or in a shadow box or something like that makes it special.
Yeah, I'll give an example. We're past this real quick, and then we'll move back to Brendan Sorsby. Like, I went to the Carolina-Alabama game 2 years ago in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
It was me and the kids, and we had one other person with us. And that person, I had all 4 tickets on my phone, and I had to split off, and she had my kids with her. So the 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I tell you what, I'm going to take a picture of the ticket and send it to you. That way, if you get lost, you know where to find me. Well, it ended up working out where we could all 4 walk in at the same time. Well, I guess if you take like a screenshot of your ticket, it renders it useless or something.
Oh.
I don't know what happened, because we go walking up, and the girl scans that particular ticket on my phone, and instead of the beep, I get there, and the girl's like, oh, no, hold on, and I'm like, oh, no. And she scans again, she's like, and I'm like, oh, and now what do you do? Like, there's 3 of us, and there's 4 tickets, or there's 4 tickets, or there's now 3 tickets and 4 of us. And so about that time, I flipped to another ticket, and I guess she didn't see it or something. She scanned it. She's like, oh. And so I had the 2 kids walking together, like, instantly. And then the other 2 tickets got scanned. And so 3 tickets got scanned. 4 people got in. So thank you, Alabama, for letting me in on that. But, yeah, I get I am petrified right now when I have to get digital tickets, mobile tickets, that, like, something's going to go wrong, that I'm going to accidentally take a screenshot of one, or I'm going to somehow void it, or, So I'm with you. So these video games, Austin handles that. My son handles that with the gaming stuff. So I don't know anything about that, but yeah, I would prefer we continue to have the hard paper tickets or whatever that we can get in with. That way we can't lose those. You can lose them, but you get my point.
Sure. Yeah. No, I understand. Digital tickets are a much speedier process, but when things go wrong, it's a lot more complicated to figure it out.
Yeah.
And some places even you can't even go to a physical ticket window anymore to like correct issues. Like my wife and I, we went to DC, went to a Nationals game, and she had bought the tickets but hadn't downloaded the MLB Parks app. And we had to go to the ticket window, and they had to like text her the tickets or something like that. It worked out, but some places don't even have ticket windows anymore where you can go figure those things out if you have a problem.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I got a few other stories, but we digress. 803-404-6100. So Tyler posed the question. Brendan Sorsby now is going to go play junior college ball because, as we've learned, thank you, Diego Pavia, junior college ball is not actually under the guise of the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
We, I guess, didn't know that, or I don't know what exactly we were supposed to think or what we were supposed to know. So he's going to go play that because he is not, banned? How do you want to say, barred from competition there?
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll prep him for the NFL in 2027. He's going to drop his NFL lawsuit. They're not going to do anything. He's just going to kind of get out of the way, prep for a year, and move on from there. Tyler asked the question about his reputation. Is his reputation ruined? Let me give you my answer, and then let me see what you think about it.
Okay.
I don't think so. Now, initially, yes. But I think Texas Tech made such a donkey's rear end of themselves defending this that they took everything off of Brendan Sorsby. That Cody Campbell and Texas Tech basically putting out that incredibly awkward, I guess I'm going to call it a podcast.
Roundtable discussion.
Yeah, whatever it was, 22 minutes of just, who knows, like defense, one of the worst defenses of this guy cheated, but we're going to play him anyway. I mean, I think Texas Tech embarrassed themselves so badly in this, Tyler, that the focus shifted. And you know how our society is, microwave society. We hit and then we miss. And we are a forgiving society. I know a lot of people talk about people didn't get second chance. We are a forgiving society because we tend to forget. And you got to do something really, really bad to not be given a second chance.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Now, like, I think there's two buckets to this. There's the court of public opinion, which Sorsby has hurt himself to a degree with. I agree that Texas Tech did worse for themselves than Sorsby did, but the biggest thing for Sorsby is making sure that the teams in the NFL that are going to be looking to draft him coming up in the spring believe he is fully past this situation. Because if there's any doubt that he's still dealing with this gambling issue, nobody's going to take a chance on him, right? Look, this isn't a guy that's being looked at as the number one overall pick. He can be drafted, sure, somewhere in a middle round or something to some degree, and he'll be on a roster, but nobody's willing to go through the headache of a guy they think still having a problem, especially one like this that would get you kicked out of the league if you continue to do it. So he has got to be as off the radar, as quiet as possible for the next handful of months and making sure he's not getting himself in any more trouble, because there's still a chance right now for him to go to the NFL. And he puts out these statements, all right, you know, I've been cured of this and I went to rehab and all that kind of stuff. Okay, well, you better prove it, because if there's any inkling of you still dealing with this problem, your NFL career is out the window at that point.
I know that the NFL frowns very, very badly. This is why they didn't fight for a supplemental draft, and they basically, in a way, if you will, this is a kind of a one-year suspension on Sorsby. But as far as we know, and somebody, if there's an article out there that I've missed or some, he's not a bad teammate.
Not from what we've heard.
He likes to gamble. And
yes.
Clearly, if you like to gamble, you shouldn't be taking gambling advice from him. But he is not a bad teammate. And I say that because, Tyler, by the time we get around to April, the end of April next year, yeah, people are going to bring it up. But if he goes through a decent junior college year, and then I'm sure he'll do some camps. It'll be interesting if he gets a combine invite. It's going to be more about, can he help our football team than does he gamble? I really, truly believe that. Like, everything's going to die down. There's going to be a level of forgiveness. I don't know if that's going to be the case for Texas Tech. Because any time Texas Tech is on television this year, and that's going to be the one thing, Brendan Sorsby is going to be brought up. But how do you think it gets framed in all their games that are on TV? Like, oh, this university, they'd play anybody to win.
Yeah, no, they've definitely done more harm to themselves. And I think it's really funny, ever since the NFL put out their statement basically saying, yeah, no, we're not bending the rules and having a supplemental draft for you, I haven't really heard a whole lot from Texas Tech. For the school that's supposed to be defending this guy's honor to the very end, not a whole lot of pushback when the NFL came down on him the other day.
No, and again, I think it would be far worse on Sorsby if Texas Tech had stepped back and been like, we're going to let him fight this one, and whatever the decision is, we'll abide by. Whatever the NCAA said he can't play. Well, I'm sorry, the NCAA said he can't play. But the way Texas Tech handled this and got front and center on it, and it's specifically Cody Campbell. If you haven't done some research on Cody Campbell, I mean, Cody's trying to break his way into the college game and be the commissioner, if you will. He's trying to use money to pretty much buy the game and buy Texas Tech a national championship. Fine, if you got the money, buy it. I'm all for it. But I really think Brendan Sorsby is going to get very lucky on this, and we're going to kind of forget, not completely forget, but we're going to kind of forget about his transgressions, how bad it was. Now, $90,000 isn't just like a drop in the bucket.
Sure.
Now, for guys making $4 or $5 million in NIL, guess what? It's a drop in the bucket. But my point on that is, like, I think if he goes and has a good year in junior college, he'll get invited to some camps and combines. If he shows he can help an NFL team and challenge for a backup spot or whatever, I think he gets drafted. I think he actually gets drafted, and I think all the blame continues to be on Texas Tech for defending him and fighting for him, and we continue to look because yesterday was it yesterday?
Yeah.
The NBA players now have all of a sudden forgotten who it was because Mikal Bridges got traded, and I keep wanting to say it's Mikal Bridges, and it's not.
Yeah. I might want to dive a little bit more into this JUCO thing with him. I'm not seeing a whole lot about that out there just yet. I'm not sure if that's confirmed true or not.
All right.
I think he's just going to be preparing for the draft.
All right. I'll look as of yesterday. I can't remember which one it was, but I'll check into that. 803-440 expected to transfer to Iowa Western Community College.
Then that's per who?
It's at the top of the USA Today.
Okay. I hadn't seen the headlines about
USA
that.
Today is the way I'm reading this.
Okay.
Is USA Today. It said that expected to transfer to Iowa Western Community College to play junior college football because NJCAA rules operate outside the jurisdiction of the NCAA and CFL, and the move allows Sorsby to compete in the 2026 season before entering the 2027 draft.
Okay.
So, yeah, USA Today. 803-404-61. I'll get to the phone lines to wrap this thought when we come back. And if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. It is your show of the 803. 803-404-6100. You can weigh in. A couple of y'all weighing in on the Sorsby situation. Texter says, I'm not sure Sorsby's a draft pick, maybe undrafted free agent. I don't really know. It doesn't mean he's a draft pick, Tyler, but according to a few of the websites, we're going to talk recruiting in the next hour because it's a big afternoon for the Gamecocks. But according to a few of the websites, he was like the number one player in the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a few of the mock-ups on him ahead of he gotten into the NFL. Have he gotten into the supplement? I say mock-up, but like the breakdowns. Big kid, big arm, can run, doesn't make the best decisions. It's kind of like everything you want in an NFL quarterback, but has a long, long way to go. As a matter of fact, his record in November is very bad. Like I think it's 1-11 against better defenses. It was something like top 30 defenses. His statistics are average at best. He's an interesting prospect. I'll say that just because it doesn't seem to be a consensus on what exactly that's why I was so interested for the supplemental draft to see what somebody might have been willing to give up for him, like a third round, a fifth round, what they were going to do. Do you got an opinion on him as an NFL prospect?
So I've heard some people say that had he come out in this past year's cycle, he would have been thought of as one of the higher end quarterbacks. Now, it was a noticeably weak quarterback draft, as we all obviously know. After Mendoza went number one, it was a surprise to a lot of people that Ty Simpson went as high as he did. But some people said Sorsby could have been in there somewhere on that high end. I don't think anybody looks at him as a day one starter in the NFL. I think he's still got the opportunity to get drafted because there's certainly something there. But I think he's more of a project or somebody that would come in as a backup in the league whenever that does end up happening. So I think he gets drafted. I don't think it's super duper high though.
Yeah, that's why John weighs in and says, "Is he a trustworthy teammate?" That's what his teammates will need to know. I don't think they worry about that because again, he's not a locker room cancer. And I say they don't worry about that because I don't think he's going in as a starter.
Yeah,
like this is a guy. As a matter of fact, what I would almost break it down. Now, maybe he's 10 times better than I realize, and I don't know. Who knows? You go to any franchise, who knows what's going on? But I almost feel like he's going to have a lot of time to prove himself in that manner, or he's never going to prove himself. And then to John's point, he'll never be trustworthy.
Yeah, this is okay. If hypothetically Fernando Mendoza was dealing with this situation where he's going to go be the number one pick and be looked at as the next franchise quarterback of the Raiders, then yeah, that's something as he comes in, there's more of a concern. But your backup quarterback having a gambling issue, probably not as big of a deal. Something that team will certainly be concerned about, but not as big of a headline as if your starting quarterback's dealing with that issue. And again, like I said, I think it's in the best interest of Brendan Sorsby to just be out of sight, out of mind your P's and Q's. And if Texas Tech was right about these things on his phone that are supposed to alert anybody if he's doing any gambling, that hopefully that's true and they keep him from doing that so he can continue his football career. Because, again, you're in a position now, if you mess up again, that's probably it. If you get into October and he relapses and suddenly goes on a bender and, burns $20,000 gambling or something like that, I think the NFL teams look at that and say, all right, yeah, we're not going to take a chance on this guy anymore.
I want to get to Peyton. Is Peyton still on the
actually
line?
Not on the line anymore.
Okay,
so
all right, sorry, Peyton. But what I was going to say is, it's not funny, but it is funny. Like, does this exclude Las Vegas from being any part of his? I'm serious. You laugh.
Yeah,
it is funny.
That's a good point.
But are you like, all right? Well, now you're down to 31 teams. Well, the Los Angeles, the Rams, and the Chargers, right? So you got both of them that play in SoFi. Is that right?
Yes,
they both play.
They do.
All right. So you're like, well, that's a 4-hour. I don't know, what is it? 3-4 hour drive. You're like, well, that eliminates them. We don't want them. Hey, that's kind of interesting to me. And also. And I'm serious about this. I'm joking, but I'm serious because of what you just said. Like, hey, guys, Brendan took a weekend off and went to Vegas and lost $25,000 playing blackjack. Is that the same as, hey, guys, he's been calling into his bookie and betting $5,000 on, two teams that aren't even hit? Like, do we still hold? I'm asking. I don't know. I don't And I don't know it.
Well, and for him, it was mainly on his phone anyway.
Right.
I mean, he did some of the stuff like the Reds games and stuff like that, but it was mainly like just gambling apps.
I don't know how old is he. By the way, there's a I didn't know this. Hunter Deckers, who plays for the Saints.
Yep.
Same path. Got caught gambling at Iowa State and did Iowa Western Community College. All right, hour 3 on the way. 803-404-6100 if you hear anything today that you want to weigh in on. Been an interesting day. We're kind of all over the map a little bit right now with what we're covering because Tyler, July 1st, big news of the day. South kind of switches to Nike, but I think now that we're here, you tell me, you were there. You were there.
Yeah.
You were on site.
Yep.
You were late to the party, actually, because you said they were there getting at 8 a.m. And before that. And y'all show didn't start till 9, so that's programming's fault, not y'all's. But with all that being said, I feel like we got to it, and now people are like, okay, all right, we switched, cool.
Yeah, there's an initial surge of excitement, right? And again, this is something people have been anticipating for years, and back to when the announcement was made right before football season started, months and months and months after it officially became official. So yeah, there's that surge of, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy my t-shirt, I'm going to buy my polo, I'm going to see what the social media teams are putting out about what the team is wearing, and that's a high that's going to last for a couple days. But then we kind of get into, okay, well, now we're still in the middle of July, and there's not anything happening right now. Media Days is a couple weeks away. Of course, we're a little over a month away from, or right at a month away, I guess, from preseason camp getting started. So you kind of have that little bit of a high, and then it just kind of goes back to normal after that.
From everything, from what you've seen today or what you saw, though, there is excitement. Like,
oh, yeah,
I guess I'm a little amazed by it, but at the same time, I'm not amazed. Like, I wasn't there to take it. I was going to try and get by there. It's been a weird morning. But, yeah, it did seem, I don't know, there are times, Tyler, that I realize now, you're a little younger than me, 29, I'm 44. There are times I'm like, it's 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. I get that it's 4th of July week, but shouldn't y'all be working? Shouldn't you people be in an office somewhere? Like, was it that kind of crowd?
Like, it was not like line out the door type of thing. Like, if you were driving by and you had 5 minutes, you could have parked, got out of your car, ran in, grabbed something, and been out. Like again, it was a steady flow of people coming in, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to have to spend an hour in there before I get to what I want. Like, it was a really good balance of a lot of people, but it wasn't like an overwhelming, like, mad rush of, oh my God, I'm going to get trampled or something like that.
Well, good. I'm glad it went good. Glad everybody had a good time or is having a good time. You can still go by there. It's not. That's the other thing. It's not like the sale ended at 1 o'clock. Everybody get on out there to Gamecock Traditions in Lexington and you check out your new gear.
Do you like to flex on, like, friends and stuff like that? Like, if you can be the first person to have something that everybody wants, like, would you be like, hey, guys, I've got my Nike T-shirt day one. What are you guys waiting on?
I had this. It's funny you bring it up. I had this conversation with someone the other day over the weekend about. They were like, "Are you going to go? Are you going to, when are you going to go get your Nike stuff?" And I was like, "Well, I've had this weird tradition. I've got these little weird, quirky things in my life where in mid-August, this goes back to when I was in college, and again, the same buddy that I would purchase the video games with, we would have shopping day. Like two women, we would have shopping day, and that is a tradition that honestly." Now, I don't know, Ty. I honestly don't know, when new gear has been traditionally released. Like, when Under Armour would come out with their new coaches, polos, or whatever. But I always went, and I'm going somewhere with this. Give me a second.
All right.
My mental time frame is to get through July, and then as you've kind of learned, I hate August. Now, last year you didn't learn this because I was in a hospital.
Didn't see you in
I
August.
was in a month, yeah. I hate August. I despise it because you and I come on here. We do our radio programs, and people want you to talk football. During the summer, if we cut up, if we talk about Gracie the Draft or something, most people are kind of like, ha, 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 yeah, I get it, it's summer. There's not a lot to talk about. I go, okay, it's a slow time. I got it. But you get to August, and people want to analyze and break down every aspect of the game. Well, you can only do so much until there's a game. We've got our shows are 3 hours. That's 15 hours a week. You can have guests on, you can do things, but there's only so much you can analyze and break down. I know my good buddy, and I say that because he texts all kinds of crazy things, but Steven doesn't want to analyze the season. He just doesn't want to talk about the season. And to an extent, Tyler, you know this, we can only guess on what they're going to look like so much during August, right?
Sure.
Like for the first 30 days. So I'm one of those people that, like, you get to August and you want to talk football, but after like 15 hours of radio, you're kind of just repeating the same message. Now, it used to be better when Steve Spurrier was the coach because you could go watch practice for a little bit. We're going to get into watching practice, and you could come back and we might have people call in and go, I was out there and saw this and I saw that and this guy looked good. Now all of a sudden you got an actual conversation going.
Yep.
Now what kind of conversation do we have? Wes Mitchell comes on and goes, I tell you what, that'll Noah Clark look good stretching.
Yep. He's a big boy. Yeah. Because, I understandably so, media access has been restricted a lot. Now, again, guys like Wes and Jack and John Whittle and all them, they have their insiders that, can trickle information out. They're like, hey, when we actually were practicing, here's how so-and-so did, and that's something to perk your ears up about. But, and I wasn't able to, cover college football in the heyday of when anybody could just walk up to practice and go watch. So I imagine that was a lot of fun, but in my almost decade-long career now, it's always been tight-lipped.
All right, so to your point, I've always had like a day in August that I deem as the start of college football is like 2 weeks out. I feel like once we're 2 weeks away, all right, now we can start getting into the main stuff and really cover everything for 2 weeks. So that would always be like a shopping day.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I didn't do it till August. I just had a set date. So if you had anything before me, you just had it before me. Now, if you want to talk like other gear, and I'll just use, because we were joking about it yesterday, like a Peter Millar shirt or a certain kind of hat or something, there is an element of being the first to have that and then everybody else copying you that, yes, I will admit, if I see it, if like 3 other people have it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Too many people have it. I'll admit, I don't like going to games at times and being the guy that's wearing the same exact polo as 67,000 out of the 70,000 in the stands or whatever it is. So, yes, there is that. You are right about that. I just, for football purposes, I got a little long-winded with, no, I've never cared. But also by about mid-August, I've looked around and been like, that one looks too popular. Popular. Yep, can't wear that one. Okay.
Now, have you ever put yourself in a position where you buy something that you don't really like just for the sake of knowing that, most people aren't going to wear this?
I would just go, seriously, with like a garnet or black shirt.
Okay. That's fair.
And I'll be honest, also for me, because, tailgating in South Carolina is only 9 million degrees for the early part of the season. I have typically in the past gone T-shirts.
Like
I'm a T-shirt, because I just sweating in a polo shirt. Like, I don't know. There's just something about, and I did it for a little bit, but dressing like decent. I don't know if decently is the right word, but like a polo shirt, khaki shorts, and flip flops in a day, or something that's not tennis shoes.
It's the frat look.
By the time you're done, your feet are disgusting. You're sweaty. The whole situation has gotten out of control, and generally speaking, not for me, but for others, you've indulged a little bit too much. It's not a good look.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So,
well, you can buy those performance polos from Nike, which are of that lighter material that it's not going to show your pit stains and things like that. So you can buy things that can adapt to the weather a little bit better.
All right. Well, yeah. Look, Nike's got a great line of stuff. They've got the dry fit shirts too. I saw several last night that I liked. Quickly, I believe this was Jordan K. Might have been. I don't know. There was a bunch of tweets last night at midnight by Jordan K. and by Gamecock Traditions, using the rooster head, if you will.
I did see a lot of that.
It seems to be, I think they called it, I'd have to go back and see exactly what Jordan K. called it, the vintage look, or he had a specific name that is Nike's that he used for it. And I'm kind of looking to see if I can find it real quick on his Twitter account. But he had a specific name for it that stood out, and that appeared to be something that they're really going to try and push early on. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, yeah, I noticed it a lot. In fact, I pointed it out to Chris as we were kind of walking around because I saw it on a lot of T-shirts. I'm like, and I'd seen the logo before. I'm like, is this a part of kind of the new deal to push this logo more? Because I haven't seen it being featured very prevalently, and maybe for like the old school throwback stuff, maybe that's kind of what they're doing here. But yeah, I saw it quite a bit.
Vault collection is what Nike calls it. It's not. This isn't something South Carolina made up. It's part of the Vault collection that Nike offered to South Carolina It says all vault items. This is for per Jordan K of the state. All vault items feature the retro Nike logo, and he says you're going to see it all over. So he does mention in one of his tweets 14 hours ago that is featured heavily. So yeah, I don't know. You know, what does Nike come up with this creative with? In this shirt, speaking of, the shirt that I'm looking at is a dry fit shirt. Just says Carolina across the front. It's got the old kind of Nike logo that's got the swoosh with the Nike right above it, and then just the rooster head there above it. So there will be, and this is actually going to be kind of interesting with baseball, because there was a period there, and there still is, where branding for South Carolina was kind of all over the map with the USC logo, the SC logo, the script Carolina. Like that is one thing with Carolina, the Block C. That is one thing Carolina's never nailed down is what I would say a across the board logo form, whereas baseball was using SC, and that obviously created something there with Southern Cal. At times, Carolina, and then we know how that's gone with the use of north of Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Yep.
Whereas Carolina's never really had a straight logo brand.
Yeah. And by the way, you have the option to buy pretty much all those at Gamecock Traditions, because I saw just about every single one of them. You mentioned that script Carolina shirt with just the Nike logo above it. That's actually, Wes ended up actually buying one of those, I believe for his wife, which were, kind of like, hey, it's kind of simple, kind of clean, which how I like T-shirts. But yeah, you're right. They've never specifically nailed down any one thing. I'm interested to see how much the old retro rooster head gets featured and stuff, because it does seem to be a point of emphasis for Nike, at least with the stuff they have so far.
Speaking of which, and I knew I did this on purpose this morning. I mean, this isn't a coincidence. Steven has just hit me up and is watching. You can always go to our live stream. I am currently actually wearing a Gamecock Under Armour shirt.
Yes, you are.
Now, until they come out with this logo for Nike, which I'm pretty sure is not at the top of their list of get things done, it is an Under Armour shirt, but it is the cocky swinging a golf club that had become pretty popular. So when they come out with that, I will definitely go. And it's a black hooded shirt, long sleeve hooded shirt, kind of that thin material, which these are actually the perfect shirts I love: hooded, long sleeve, and the thin material. But yeah, I'd forgot I'm wearing it, but I did that. I did do that on purpose today, not as a rebellion. Just I was going to wear something. Well, y'all prefer here at the office at the studio. I wear clothing, and I can agree with you on that. And B, this was kind of like, I don't know how. The question, Tyler, is like, this is a unique shirt.
It is, yeah.
Like, this isn't. I haven't seen a lot of other people with this shirt. How long can I get away with this? Because the Under Armour symbol is right under my neck. It's right. It's dead center of the shirt. I mean, notice it.
It's going to take a while to filter things out. I mentioned to see if people look down on you, like, oh, you're still wearing the Under Armour stuff. I've moved on to Nike. Like, let me know if you get any dirty looks with that going forward.
If it was a regular shirt, I don't know if I would. I think it'd be 50-50. But because I'm not saying it's a unique shirt. I mean, you could buy it as an Under Armour shirt. To turn a profit, they made more than one. But it is a little bit different than what's out there. Like, I'm guessing Nike at some point, I don't know how the logos are handled. Like, I guess we just talked about branding. I'm guessing, I don't know if this is an official, golf brand shirt. Again, it's cocky swinging a golf club. But we'll see. But I think I can get away with this one for a while. Now, if I was wearing a polo Gamecock Under Armour, it might be a lot different.
Yeah.
There would probably be a lot different. People would be like, hey, buddy,
upgrade.
Gamecock Traditions today. What are you doing? So, 803-404-6100. We will get into a few other topics, including paying for practice tickets. We're talking practice. Allen Iverson talked about practice. Well, we're going to talk about practice. Would you buy practice tickets to watch the Gamecocks practice to help NIL or rev share? I'll explain when we come back. Plus, there's a couple doing something crazy in New York. The Knicks win the championship and things just go haywire. I'll explain that too. It's the halftime show. It is 2:20 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Again, World Cup tonight. We'll get into that coming up in a little bit in the next segment. Just talk a little World Cup with you as we get set for USA and Bosnia. I didn't watch. England was down. Tyler, do we know if it appears to now be final?
Yep.
Did England win?
England won.
Oh, good.
Yeah, 2-1.
Good. Oh, wow, they came back. They were down. So, of course. Of course. Why wouldn't they? Because, Tyler, I don't know if you called it as you were coming in. Current plan of attack right now, if I watch the World Cup game, it is a blowout.
Okay.
I did watch Turkey and USA, and that was a great, incredible game, a lot of fun. But, Monday was a great day of World Cup. Brazil, Japan, Monaco, the Netherlands, Germany in penalty kicks, loses. Oh, it was just an incredible day. I watched none of it. Yesterday, you and I were sitting here doing the show. We kind of missed it. Norway and Norway was playing somebody, and great match. Comes down to the end. Ivory Coast, and Norway wins. Norway had to have. I was watching the very end with Jay Phillips, the very, 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 very end. I last night decided to watch France and Sweden. I was like, oh, well, everything's been really good. I should get into this. Blowout. France just tore them up. I was like, okay.
Yep.
Mexico, Ecuador. All right, this could be pretty good. David convinced me it could be pretty good. I'm going to watch.
Nope.
Yeah, blowout. So I take the blame.
In fact, and we talk so much about how star power has been at the forefront of this World Cup so far. Harry Kane scored both goals for England, one in the 75th minute, one in the 86th. So in the late stages of this game, he kind of put the team on his back and did the scoring himself.
Of course. Yeah. If something incredible happens and I'm not watching, it figures that's the way it goes. 803-404-6100. So I'm really interested to hear y'all's take on this. Ohio State, now, Tyler, obviously in this day and age, ADs and athletic departments, ADs in particular and athletic departments, have to find ways to generate revenue to cover rev share.
Yes.
Whatever it takes. And one of the things is at Ohio State, they have decided to sell tickets to the first 3 practices of the preseason. Feels like they're getting started a little late, so I'm a little thrown off on this, but it says tickets are being sold to the first 3 practices of the preseason, August 6th through the 8th.
Okay.
General admission is $48 per ticket. And then there's a VIP access, which is $143 per day. It includes a shaded tent and refreshment or snacks. I don't know if that's I'm serious about this because $143 is not cheap. I don't know if that's like an open bar or just like sodas and waters or what. It doesn't tell me. It says the gates, this is again for Ohio State, gates will open at 8 a.m. and practice runs from 9 until noon.
Mm-hmm.
Children under 2 are admitted free. Tickets are sold on a first-come, first-served basis with a limited 8 tickets per order. And then it kind of gives me where I can buy these tickets. Now, the one thing to be clear about, if I'm doing the math on this right, Ohio State, the 6th through the 8th, Tyler, you know this. Wes and Chris can back this up. You go through the transition period. So the first 2 practices are just helmets.
Yep.
So there's no pads. There's everything is kind of against air. You're not actually having the click clack of the pads thumping and everything. And then you would technically catch the 3rd practice, which is only shoulder pads.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still not full pads. You got some hitting going on, but it's not full pads. So that's what they're selling. And the money is designated strictly for rev share to help take care of players. Just off the cuff, what is your thoughts when you see this?
It's not surprising. I mean, I think you're going to get a lot of people that are going to want to pay for this access. And as you brought up, I don't know how much you're truly going to get to see. I also wonder, are you allowed to bring your phone? Are you allowed to take pictures and videos? Are they gonna make sure you're not leaking out any information? Because I'm assuming you get to be there for the whole 3 hours, right? Like from 9 to 12?
Oh, yeah.
So this isn't just like, all right, we're going to put you in here for 30 minutes and you'll get to see nothing of substance and then we'll usher you out of here and we'll get to real practice. Like, you're going to see legitimate practice things happening. Now, you're not, because it's the first week of August, you're not to the point where they're like really game planning for their first opponent and maybe going through schemes quite as much, but you're going to see some things that they probably don't want getting out. So I'm wondering how buttoned up this is going to be and how much they're going to vet people that are going to be buying the tickets to this.
I think the opposite. You're these first three practices, and Chris and Wes, y'all can talk about this because obviously you're doing a radio show. You've never been able to go out and, like, I don't think you've ever been able to go out and watch. Like, there ain't a whole lot. It's acclimation days.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't, they might, the offense is going to maybe line up in some formations and do some things. It's limited. So, and a matter of fact, at the end of this, or at the end of each practice, it does say that fans in attendance, I don't know why it tells me not to be outdone, but this is on the Ohio State website. Fans in attendance will have the opportunity to get autographs and take pictures with select student athletes at the conclusion of each practice. I mean, here's my thing on this. And I thought about this for South Carolina. There's not a lot of room over there at the facility at where they want to do this. But if you did something like this, and I don't know, I'm ballparking numbers here. So, if you're someone down at the university that's actually invested in practice, maybe you can change the numbers a little bit to figure out how many people could hold, or if you can't do it this year, but if you moved it to the stadium and you put it in the stadium the first few days. But let's just hypothetically say you sold 250 tickets, you sold 500 total at the regular general admission.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's making just $12,500. But that's $12,500 that you didn't have in the bank, right?
True.
50 tickets, just general admission. So if you want to sell a few more, whatever. But let's say you get a little more creative. Let's just say you decide, I'm going to get a little more creative, and we're going to have refreshments, and, at 1 o'clock, the coach is, at 12:30, we're going to have a luncheon each day, and the coach is going to come in and explain practice, maybe do a film session with us. So I'm giving you lunch and the practice and everything, and instead of 150, you do 250. And I don't know how many of y'all would pay that. Well, that's $62,000.
Yeah.
For 250 people, and Williams-Brice has the space to do that. Again, we're talking about buying quarterbacks for $3-4 million. So $62,000 is a drop in the bucket. But you know what $62,000 is?
More than what you had?
Exactly. And that's for 500 people.
Yeah.
Would you buy practice tickets to an event like that? You're not buying it for all 3 days. You're only buying it for one.
Sure. Like, me personally, I probably wouldn't, but I know a lot of people that would.
And you might only be thinking of, well, I'll buy the $50 general admission ticket.
Yeah, maybe.
And I mean, you could, again, $50 for a practice. You can throw in hey, we'll give you a banner. I don't know. You get a free post. I don't know. You get the point.
Yeah.
You can make it. I think this is, to me, brilliant. And I think if you're South Carolina, it's something you need to look at in terms of adding. I mean, look, is there a way to maybe get to six figures? I think so. And if you're talking $100,000, then, again, every bit counts. And you're only talking 3 to 4 practices that really, quite frankly, Tyler, and again, I haven't been in forever, but you could have this conversation with Chris and Wes tomorrow and be like, what are y'all really seeing? Now, they're only watching 15 minutes, but what are you really seeing those first 3 practices? And they're going to probably be like, you honestly wouldn't see, much that you're worried about getting out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe so.
I'm all for this. I think this is a great actually again, this is what Ohio State's doing. $48 for general admission, $143 for a VIP pass to that you can actually go on Ticketmaster and purchase and get. We'll finish this thought when we come back, and we'll move on to some soccer. You're listening to the Halftime Show. Well, it's New York. And the people in New York, it's hot. And when you combine hotness with New York and winning a championship, Tyler, people tend to do things. I don't know what political message is being sent or what exactly is happening. What I do know, there is a couple, a pair, that has scaled the Empire State Building as we speak. Tyler, have you seen this? I retweeted this.
I did see that. Impressive feat to accomplish that. Not a big fan of heights myself. Don't know if I'd go that far.
Like when we say scaled, they are like on the best I can describe antenna at the top.
No harness.
Yes,
They're just
no harness.
They're just out there.
That in and of itself, not everything's there. Not all the full asset of crayons is not in the box.
They have some sort of flag. I don't know what it's supposed to say, but they're making a stance on some kind of cause.
And you know what? And I could care less. What gets to me as I watch this video is the male, what I can only assume is the male. He looks like a male. They're dressed in all black, and there's a reason also I'll bring up their dress. But the male appears to propose to what I'm pretty sure is a female. Again, I'm saying pretty sure and all that because the way the angles are, I'm pretty sure I got a male and a female up there. By the way, the female, tougher than I will ever be, given that part of the video is her scaling back down from the top of the antenna. But it appears they proposed, Tyler. Now, I proposed on the beach, on the ground. If I fell over because I'd already partied a little bit too much, I just hit some sand. Waves washed on me.
Yep.
I don't know how you did yours, but I'm pretty sure it was not on top of any building.
It was not. I imagine it's one of those things. The adrenaline's flowing. Again, I don't know how tall. How tall is the Empire State Building? Do we know?
Tall.
Very tall. Yeah, very tall. And you're inches away from falling to your death at any moment.
Dude, I'm scared right now.
So,
I'm sitting in a chair.
Yeah, it's one of those things like when you watch it, I'm watching the aerial shot when they get to the tippy top. And again, I can't even read what the flag says. They're making some kind of statement on something. Yeah. But that's freaking me out.
On top of that, best I can tell, this is where it starts to get a little more interesting. Best I can tell, I think it's a female, appears to be wearing a Catwoman mask.
And a cape? Yeah. I think she's got a cape on. There's a lot happening.
It's a lot happening. So, fellas or females, if you're the one that whoever proposes, whoever's leading the relationship with you and your significant other, I'm just PSA. Stay on the ground.
What if she says no when you're up there? What if the dude misread the room and she wasn't at that point in the relationship? It says no, then you're up there hundreds of feet off the ground still trying to make your statement or whatever with the person that just turned down your proposal.
Bummer. You got a story to tell while you're hanging out in one of New York's finest penitentiaries, which, by the way, is where they'll honeymoon now.
I guess so. Are they still up there or do they come down?
I don't know. The whole story bothers me because you're right. As I've gotten older, I'm developing quite a fear of heights. It's a very strange thing that I don't know like where it exactly, because it's not like I go, it's not like I'm climbing a bunch of stuff and getting very high up in the air. But the stuff like this, like all seriousness, I'm watching this video on ABC, it's on Twitter. And so it came across my Twitter account, ABC News. Could have been any news channel, but it was ABC News. And literally I'm watching the video and my stomach hurts and my knees shake. And
you start to move around in your chair a little bit. You're like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That platform is relatively big enough that they're coming down on. But I am wildly uncomfortable, and I'm not watching it anymore. But watching it the first time, wildly uncomfortable watching that because it terrifies me. So, folks, stay on the ground. No need for all this shenanigans.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a POV video from them standing on the ledge. That's freaking me out.
Oh,
more.
no.
Yeah.
No.
I had to click off that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I believe they're in custody now.
Good. And again, I'm sure it will be a lovely I don't know what the time is on that. 2 to 5 years, 2 to 4 months, whatever it could be. I'm sure that they'll have a great story to tell.
They'll have time to plan.
Yeah, 803-404-6100. I do want to hear more on this. Texter weighs in, Russell weighs in on the text line. And again, this is kind of my point. He says if you were able to hold 10,000 fans at Willie B at $50 each, that's $5,000 a day for one practice. Or excuse me, $500K a day, $500,000 a day for one practice. Well, I doubt you'll get that, Tyler, but you might. I don't know. I don't know what. Like this also kind of loops in with because of rev share. Do you start charging say $10 for spring games?
I honestly probably. I mean, like you kind of do the math there, because what would a typical spring game bring in? 20, maybe 30,000 people.
Let's call it 30,000.
Let's call it 30,000 people. So yeah, if you're charging between $5 and $10, oh yeah, you can rake in a lot of money real quick with something like that. And I think that's a way. I don't know how many schools may have done that this past spring, but when we anticipate Carolina gets its spring game back coming up here next year, I would be shocked if they didn't do something along those lines. Again, you don't make it like a high price point that turns people away,
right.
But like, yeah, $5-10, I think, and especially with your fans knowing that it's going to benefit the program overall, I think most people would be willing to do that.
300,000. If you had 30,000 people at a spring game at $10 a pop, that's $300,000.
Yes.
I mean, now that again, does it help rev share? Yeah, 300,000. What do you? I mean, that probably.
That could. I don't know.
That's half of a decent lineman.
Sure.
I mean, no coach is going to be like, I don't want 300,000.
You probably get a decent kicker for that, right? I don't know what the market is.
I don't know, but yeah, to your point, 300,000 is 300,000.
300,000 didn't have before,
and that's if you only get 30,000. What if you add a few things? And again, that's only if you do $50. What if you got a VIP package? Yeah. I'm one of those people that have kind of come to realize, add a few things, raise the price. People want excess.
Yeah, people want access.
Well, not access, but they want excess.
Sure.
I get a lunch with it.
Yeah. Well,
it's fried chicken and rice. Hey, I'll take it. Whatever.
To your point of like kind of the Ohio State model here, that if you had an event that was like, all right, 250 people are going to get in to watch practice, and then like Beamer's going to come speak to you for 5 minutes afterwards, like that is worth a higher price point, because you're getting in more of an intimate setting, one-on-one with the head coach. Maybe you can ask questions. I don't know, like that kind of thing. Okay, we can charge another $50 or $100 for this now. Like those are things that I think everybody should be looking into.
I'm with you on that. And I asked, would y'all buy the tickets? You're right on the money. I think you do more. Again, access, as you say, and more, as I call it, excess, where, again, you think about it, you got, and there's becoming so many club areas now in that stadium. If you were to go and watch practice, and they do it for the first 3 days, you got access to the air conditioner and a lounge, because it's 3-hour practice. So I forget what's below the end zone there with the zone. I forget that club area that they got, but they got other ones they could use. Jay from the Interstate, by the way, weighs in and says $300K gets one high 3-star recruit. That's great then.
Hey, it's one high 3-star recruit you didn't have before.
That's right. And today's a big recruiting day for South Carolina. We're going to talk about that as we wrap up the program. But I think you got to do this. And I think, truthfully, again, you look at the spring game, and you're right. I don't think you can go more than 20's maybe excessive for the spring game, Tyler. It might be 10. I think might be the right price on that. Mm-hmm. And then you try to maybe then you have like 100 tickets that are in a suite where, again, there's free drinks and food, and after the practice, after the spring game, Shane Beamer's talking to them specifically, and you can raise a little more. We'll finish up recruiting. It is a monster day for South Carolina. We'll explain why when we come back. It's the halftime show. Jay from the Interstate. He says, how about sideline access at a spring game? That could bring in a solid price. Yeah, I mean, look, Tyler, who could be the most creative? What are coaches okay with?
Elijah got to call a play in last year's spring game.
Yeah.
How much would people be willing to bid for that?
Exactly. That's my point. Like, honorary coaches. If you're the technical honorary coach, are you willing to pay $10,000? I don't know. I don't know what a price point is on this. I do know there are boosters out there that would gladly do it. Right?
Sure.
Like you're talking. Let's just ballpark. Let's just start with the fact that there's 77,000 seats. I know some of them are visitor seats, but let's just use the round easy number that there's 77,000 people that want to attend a South Carolina game because that's how many seats are in the stadium. Play off of that and just say you're going to get half of those people to do for a relatively decent price.
Mm-hmm.
That's 38. They're right at 38.5, 38. We'll round down, make the numbers easy. 38,000. I mean, that's, again, go to the spring game concept. $10 if you're getting half of the stadium full. I'm not saying that that's easily doable, but there's 380,000. Take out 1,000 people that you can fit in the zone or one of the club areas, and you're giving them free drinks and, food and access to a post-game press conference with Shane Beamer where he comes up and he talks to everybody, but now instead of $10, it's $250. All of a sudden, the numbers, you can make the numbers work.
Oh, sure. And there are people that are going to be willing to pay
exactly right.
high price points for all these levels. And again, it's a spring game. You can be a lot more relaxed. Like, again, you're not going to be able to let somebody call a play in an actual game in the fall, but highest bidder for, calling the first play of the game. Yeah, somebody might fork out a couple $1,000s for that. Why not?
You know what? Just how much? Think about a big booster.
Okay.
And I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the official rules are. But you get to call the first play of the game against Kent State. How much do you think that goes for? I mean, because you're under the assumption, right? And like maybe bear with me. It's summertime.
Sure.
But let's just say you go, all right, we're gonna sell off the first play of the game for I don't know the number. Let's just say $250,000.
Okay.
I mean, you got to make it worthwhile, right? Like $250,000, 2,540. But you're like, listen, we can't run a triple reverse throwback to the left.
That's what I was going to say. Are you having to limit them at that point?
But you're limiting them just to you're like, hey, we aren't running. You're not.
We're going to run the annexation of Puerto Rico on the first play of the game.
You're not literally. You aren't making up a play. Here are your yeah. There are parameters. It's Kent State, and it's the first play game. You're like, you get to be on the sideline. I don't know what the NCAA rules are. There might be some rules to like random guy on the sideline with a headset. And obviously some coaches are going to be like, I'm not giving that up. But if you think about it, you're like, I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm like, hey, Lenoris, he's calling, this play. You worst case, you tuck and run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you throw it.
The play doesn't have to go to your design. It can be,
right.
It can be a broken play that is, Sellers takes it up for a first down or whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, let's go with again. Let's just say like, hey, somebody out there is like, man, for me to brag to my friends that I was on the field next to Shane Beamer or Dabo Sweeney or Kalen DeBoer, and use whatever you want, and called the first play. It's 250,000. You might actually be underselling that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think we've talked about this before. They do have the auctions throughout the year where you can ride in the cockaboose. I think you can run out with the team too. Have I heard that correctly? There's a lot of areas of access and game day type of things that I think you can allow more access to. That again, people would pay a high dollar value for.
I don't know. Yeah,
there's a series of things they auction off for every game. And I can't remember what all of them are.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff. And again, probably two subjects. Like South Carolina's going to start hosting these concerts, and they're going to do stuff at the stadium, and they'll make some money off of that. Just like our buddy Ian hadn't seen Ian in a while. I think he got blocked on our Twitter account. He's like Morgan Wallen playing at Clemson. Yeah, that made some money for Clemson. That's what you got to do. That's why South Carolina's upgrading the stadium. That's exactly why they're doing it. They're going to host. I know they're supposed to host some. I don't know if it's going to be ready next summer for this, but I know that's the plan. And so yeah, South Carolina will start doing it. Same thing. It's just something everybody's starting to do when you get these stadium tours. So that's not a first or a last kind of thing. And I from what I understood, they are already in the midst of lining up some big people. So we'll see. Tomorrow, NASCAR. What in the world happened to Tyler Reddick last week?
Oh, well, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Yeah. I flip it on. He's 4 laps down.
He's had a tough couple weeks.
Does that mean I'm not in the lead anymore?
I actually have to tally up our points.
Tally them up. Doug Turnbull tomorrow at 1:30. All right. It's been a lot of fun. Good luck out there if you're going for Nike gear. Jay Phillips is up next. It has been the show of the 803.